Welcome to the Relationship Rehab Podcast. I'm Sami, a certified breakup and relationship coach, attachment specialist, former love addict, and spiritual junkie. This podcast is for you, the hopeless romantic who loves to love, and a safe space for us to explore and heal our attachment trauma, broken hearts, and love addictions. Together, we are on a mission to become the love of our own lives so we can have successful, healthy, secure relationships with others. So if you're ready to create a life and love beyond your wildest desires, you're in the right place. Your journey towards becoming more secure in love and life starts now. Hello, my loves. Welcome back to the Relationship Rehab Podcast for the final part of this Christmas series. And this episode is for those who are having a really tough time this Christmas season. You are navigating a heartbreak, whether it's one that you instigated or something that has come completely unexpected, or maybe you have been navigating heartbreak for most of the year and now you're facing such a prominent holiday and the end of the year as well, alone and without them. And this can be really, really triggering. So I want to dedicate this episode to you, my love, but also if you have been single for quite some time as well, and you still find this time of year quite triggering because you don't want to be single. You have been pouring so much effort into finding your person by now. You set that resolution at the beginning of the year and it still hasn't happened for you. And everything comes up to the surface around this time of year. Everything gets magnified, whether it's the heartbreak you're going through or the singleness of your relationship status. So I want us to go there together to talk about the hardships of holiday heartbreak and embracing this season of solitude and seeing how you can turn it around to be the most transformative season for you. So this is my intention for this episode, for you to see it from a different perspective, a different light, to help you go from feeling empty to empowered this Christmas. So like I said, whether this heartbreak is fresh, something you've been processing for a while, or you're finding yourself single again despite your best effort, I hope, it is my greatest hope, that you will find some comfort and some inspiration and will feel motivated just by listening to this podcast episode to navigate this holiday the way that makes you feel as comforted, as soothed, as good, as in peace as possible. So this is what we're going to do to wrap things up before I go on a break from this podcast. There will be a 2-week break and then I will be back in the next year. So I feel like many of us have been heartbroken over the holidays at least once in our lives. So this is something that you are definitely not alone with. Even right now, there are probably hundreds of people going through the same thing of you, if not thousands, if not millions. There are so many other people listening to this podcast the same time as you, just looking for some support during this holiday. So you are definitely not alone. Even though it feels like it can feel like you are so alone during this holiday season, because it has this way of amplifying the loneliness that you might feel already around this heartbreak, around this loss, especially when it feels like everyone has a +1 to all the holiday parties and everyone's coupled up, everyone's having that magical Christmas, and you're seeing it all splashed out on social media. You're hearing all about it at work or with your friends, and this can just, again, amplify that loneliness. So before we get into this, let's just take a deep breath together and settle into this moment as we talk about navigating holiday heartbreak. So let's breathe in. And breathe out. This can be quite a heavy topic, and one that I have been in a couple of times myself. It was only last year that I myself kind of went through a breakup, I would say a mini breakup with my partner at the time, because we just needed to to break from each other, and we decided to spend the holidays apart. And it felt like a full breakup because I was missing him tremendously. Like, we had our traditions already, and I'm sure you can resonate where no matter how long you've been together, maybe you've had Christmases before or you've talked about spending the holidays together, and all of a sudden those traditions or those fantasies are no more, and things just trigger you all around, like things that remind you of them, or songs that you hear that remind you of them, ideas and hopes that you had about spending the Christmas holidays together. And it just seems like in that moment, like nothing can comfort you except their presence. It seems like everything is like this constant reminder of what you've lost or what you wish you had, or even something that you wish could come back. But let me tell you this, everything that you're feeling right now is so valid, and it's okay. It's okay to be upset, to be sad, to be in grieving over the Christmas holidays. I know sometimes we feel this pressure to put on a smile and to put on the mask and cape and gown and God knows what else in order to make it seem like we are super happy. But let me tell you, a lot of us feel heaviness around the season. A lot of us go through things. This holiday triggers a lot of memories, a lot of emotions for us. It is not always this happy, happy season. And I'm not saying to now go and fall into that depression or fall into that anxiety, but just give yourself that compassion, give yourself that space to be okay with not being okay all of the time. You do not have to put your best foot forward and be happy all of the time if you're not. It's okay to feel these emotions deeply, and it's okay to have them as well as feeling joy and happiness and excitement. Healing is not linear, and it is a duality of all the emotions that you may feel around this time of year, whether it's anger, nostalgia, loneliness, sadness, even relief. Everything is welcome to the party. Can you hold the space for all the emotions to be heard and shown some compassion by you? So when I was going through this myself, I remember falling into spirals of overthinking, wondering if he's spending the holidays with someone else or what is he doing right now, being preoccupied with the phone, wondering if I'm going to get that holiday text from him, and just really trying my best to detach from all the things that reminded me of him, from all the expectations that I had and the visions and the hope that I had, and to really do my best to be present. And that's all you can ask of yourself when you're going through something really hard, is your best, and to balance that out with what you need. So because I'm sure if you are in a lot of pain right now, and the darkness of the winter season just feels even more darker, and the joy around you from other people just somehow deepens the pain that you feel within, just kind of stuffs you back into that space of loneliness. And you may want to just cancel all your plans, just hide under the covers and just sleep through Christmas, or even just completely move to a different country or visit a different country, travel during Christmas. All these things are great if that's what you feel like you need, but really check in with yourself as to whether you are isolating yourself because you are falling into that pain, or is this isolation going to be something that is going to really support you and help you to come out the other end completely at peace with yourself and being able to regulate your emotions? Because even though we might feel like this, it might not be the best thing for us. But it's a normal response when we're feeling grief, because we go into that freeze state, we shut down, we want to numb out our emotions. It's too painful to feel, so we go into either a depressive freeze where we just don't want to leave the bed, or we go into a functional freeze where we distract ourselves completely with parties, with work, with all the celebrations with other people, and not giving yourself the space to feel because it's just too uncomfortable. You just feel like you need to be around people all the time. So you could go either way. You could go into complete solo isolation, or being so afraid of being alone because all the things are going to come up to the surface. So I think it's important to just be aware of what is happening for you, for your experience. Because when we're going into that freeze-like state, what our body and our mind, they're working together. What they're doing is putting you in a state of survival. It's going into that protection mode. It's trying to shield you from feeling that pain. So it might suggest that you go into isolation. It might suggest that you need to be around people because we cannot feel that pain. And we might even feel like if we put ourselves in these states of isolation or being around people constantly, we feel even more empty. We feel even more sad. We actually fall deeper into the emotions that we're trying to escape from. So I know when I was going through this, I wanted to make sure that I was giving myself enough space, that I wasn't falling into pleasing or being inauthentic. But I pushed myself a little bit to enjoy the holidays because, in the moment, you don't feel up to it. You don't want to. What you do just want to stay in bed and cry and watch Christmas movies. I don't know, whatever you do. But I had to push myself a little bit, and I made sure that I surrounded myself with people that felt good, that felt safe, even though there were people there. I remember the Christmas party on Christmas Day that I didn't know, but I remember having a safe space within the home that I was in. I had a safe space, and I let my best friend know. It was my best friend's party that was she was hosting. I let her know. Of course, she knew exactly what was happening with me, and I said I'm going to be as present as I possibly can, but that might mean that I will have to go into my safe space just to take some rest, just to take a moment for myself so I can rejoin the celebrations and not push myself too hard. So it's about finding that balance, so pushing yourself a little bit, but how much is too much? And do you have a quote unquote escape plan, or a space like me where I could just go? And I found that just knowing that I had options, knowing that I had choices, helped me a lot. And I didn't need that safe space as much as I thought I would. I really invited myself to be as present as possible during the day, making new traditions. So I remember the thought would come into my head, oh, me and him would do it this way, or this is when we would start doing this. And I would just give myself permission to say, it's okay that Christmas looks a little different this year. And this is how I'm doing Christmas this year. I am with these people. We are celebrating together. I made sure I felt the safety of my best friend who was always checking in with me. And I did take the space as and when I needed, but I surprised myself. Because sometimes our mind can do that. Our mind can almost amplify and exaggerate how things are going to go. It goes to that worst case scenario. But we might just surprise ourselves if we just give ourselves a little tinsy push with the safety of knowing that we have choices and options. So I have also been in a space where I've been single for a long time. I was single for a long time after my first relationship, and the years leading up to me leaving for Thailand. So I totally understand and get this space as well. And for some of those years, I actually chose to be single. I owned it. But then there were some years as well where I kind of wished I had a partner, whether it was because I really did want one or because I wanted to live up to my family expectations. And if I'm going to be really honest with myself around that time, it's kind of a mixture of both, because I was healing from that relationship, but also dealing with all the expectations that were planted on me by my families, especially the older generation, because the older you get, the more probing questions get thrown at you. Like, when are you going to meet someone? When are you going to settle down? Oh, you're getting a bit old now. Are you thinking about having children? You don't want to leave it too late. I have had all that thrown at me, especially now at the age of 35. I'm 35 in a couple of days, and my grandparents, more than anything, are on my back. If anything, they've written me off by now, but in my early 30s, they were on my back. When are you going to have children? You're going to leave it late. They kind of put the fear in me a little bit. So it can be really tricky when you are single and you don't want to be, and you're having these questions thrown at you, and sometimes you feel pity from them as well. Like, oh, here you are again at the family gathering, single again. When will you find someone? And it's just, oh my God, it's a lot. So how can we put ourselves in that space where we can feel empowered in these spaces where we have family members that are probing, where we might be feeling a little bit down about the fact that we don't have a partner. We might be thinking to ourselves, well, it must be because we're unlovable, or because I'm not enough, or because I'm not worthy of a partner. And especially when all my siblings or my cousins, they're all married off, they're all having kids, and here's me, I'm just still by myself at Christmas because no one wants me. Like, all of these stories and narratives can start to come up and can start to feel very real in the moment as well. So when I do get asked these annoying, probing questions, sometimes I would just not answer, and that's okay. Can you give yourself permission to set a boundary around these questions if they are just too triggering? Whenever someone comes up to you and says a question like this, can you say, thanks for your concern, but I'm just not open to talking about it? Or just say to them, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Let's talk about something else, and then redirect the conversation towards them. Or depending on the relationship you have with them, you can even tell them how this question is making you feel. You know, when you ask me that question, it just makes me feel really uncomfortable. So I would rather not answer it. But let's talk about this instead, because I really want to know more about whatever's going on with you. So it's okay to not answer these questions. Or we could say something more empowering, because I'm sure a lot of us fall into oversharing, right? Especially if we're going through that breakup where a family member who probably hasn't been informed would be like, oh, what's happened to Bob? What's happened to Bob that you were dating or that you were seeing? Where's he? And that could elicit quite a lot of emotion in you as well. And again, very, very welcome to set boundaries around these questions. Or you can just be honest and own it. Own your honesty and own your answer, where you say, unfortunately, we decided to separate. But I'm working on myself this year. This Christmas is looking a little different for me, and I'm feeling okay. I have my moments, but all in all, I'm feeling all right. If they love you and care for you, they are going to want to make sure that you're okay. Just know your family members. Know that if I responding this way, am I going to open up Pandora's box for even more questions or pity or any type of response that I do not want to receive? Or is it a family member that is going to receive your answer with love, with kindness, with compassion? So whether or not you have family gatherings to go to or not, or if you were spending it with friends or not, maybe you are facing a Christmas alone or with close family where there's not so much people or gatherings and it's more of a isolating experience. This holiday season isn't just about survival or getting through it or just feeling into the pain and just wishing that January would come around so you can just say goodbye to that Christmas and continue on with your life. What if we turned this holiday season into a chance where you get to love on yourself so much that you get to transform, that you get to look back at this time and be like, I could have gone into that depression. I could have spent the whole 2 weeks in bed feeling really sorry for myself, like isolating myself from everything. Or you can say that this moment, this chapter of your life really challenged you, really got you out of that comfort zone, really supported you to make changes, make a transformation. So January 1st came around and you felt very renewed. You felt motivated and excited for your new life. You set new goals for yourself. Life looks very different right now. I'm sure you've had to grieve some of the plans and visions that you may have had with your partner. And now this is the time where you get to create new ones. And that might seem a bit scary. Take your time. or it might be exciting that you get to have this chance to refresh yourself, to rest after all the heavy lifting from this heartbreak, and you get to retreat within. And we can see it almost like this winter, right? Think of this heartbreak like a winter season in your life. It's cold, it's still, it may feel endless, like it's never going to end. But as we know, winter is just a season of our life. It isn't the end, it's a season of rest, and it's a season of preparation for our new life, for growth. After winter comes spring, and your spring is on the way, it's coming. And with it, new opportunities for love, starting with the love you give to yourself, starting with the love that you may want to pour into your friendships right now, or your family, or your children. So, how can you embrace this winter season of your life where you retreat from the world a little bit? You're off work for the 2 weeks and you get to really crystallize new visions and ideas for yourself. You get to spend the time meeting your needs without having to think about anyone else, that you get to show yourself all the compassion and love and gentle kindness that you really need during this season. Because heartbreak can sometimes feel like your heart's just rearranging itself. And it isn't just grieving the relationship, it's creating space for a new version of you. So, this is a great time to really think about who you want to be in the next year, in 2025. Right now, you have a blank page. You get to create all the rituals, whether you believe in spiritual rituals or not, or prayer, or whatever feels good for you. Create a ritual where you burn or you leave things behind in the past. You are no longer bringing this into your new year. Who do you want to become? What are those steps where you can take to become that new version of you? What's this new life looking like for you? And just get excited about those visions. If you're not quite there yet, that's okay. Can you give yourself permission to more time to process, to grieve any emotions and heaviness that you may have? Maybe this Christmas season is just about surrounding yourself with people who love you, and that's it. But if you are in the space where you're ready to think about this type of stuff, that's great. So, with every tradition that you might be dreading or any family gathering that you're feeling anxious about, this can be a chance and an opportunity to discover who you are without your ex partner, without that person that is no longer in your life. We can now start to know ourselves a lot more. I remember the first relationship, really having to discover who I am without them, not really knowing how to function without them. So every time I had to meet with people or do something where he would have been with me, it was so triggering. It was so uncomfortable. I suffered a lot with social anxiety, but they were also opportunities to me for me to really feel into what were those things that I am afraid of. What are those things that I just don't feel like I can cope with, and how can I do that work on feeling more confident in myself? Maybe I went too far. How can I pull back a little bit? So there are opportunities for us to explore who we truly are as our authentic self. And that emptiness that you're feeling, it's not just the absence of them or the absence of who you used to be, but it's potential waiting to be filled, potential of a new life, potential of a new you. So let's continue on this path of redirecting that energy of loneliness, of emptiness, of depression, whatever you're feeling, from going through this heartbreak or from being single, because being single doesn't mean that you're broken or unworthy of love. So many people are single around this holiday. It can feel like we're the only one when everybody is coupled up, and social media can just blow up around this time where everyone's sharing their highlights and everyone's sharing their family Christmas photos. And I remember looking at them heartbroken and going through a breakup last year, and I'm like, I cannot. Like, I'm happy for them, I really, really am, and I can like this picture, but maybe it's just not the best decision for myself right now to be on social media? Is this something, a boundary that you have to set with yourself just for now, while everyone's sharing their highlight reels and their Christmas photos, because you're not in that space? And instead, we use that time that we would have spent doom scrolling as a chance to reconnect with ourselves, to explore who we are without the influence of someone else, to create new traditions that we want to cultivate with us. Maybe we get back into crafts around this time, something that is for us, something we can keep for us, to start to create a new memory of a Christmas that just looks a little bit different this year. So, this is the time to really focus on you, to fill up your own cup so you can pour into others from a place of fullness and not from a dry space of emptiness. Like when we do that, and I'm sure we all have, try to give to people from a space where we feel so exhausted and empty, we don't have anything to give. How can we retreat from those spaces if it doesn't feel right? And use this holiday season as a way to nurture ourselves. So, with all these things that I'm saying, we're all in different spaces right now. Take what feels right for you. Bring in that element of self-trust, and with everything that I'm saying, really feel into your body. Does this feel like this is where I'm at, or do I need more time? Or yes, this is where I'm at, and this is what resonates, and this is what something that I am going to now take from this episode and apply and do this Christmas season. So accept that this holiday is just looks different for you. Not better or worse, just different. Release that pressure that you're putting on yourself, or maybe pressure that you're feeling from others to feel festive and joyful and happy. We can create space for both joy and grief. So, like I said, how can you do that for yourself where you're creating physical space in emotional space? So, another way that we can transform this season of solitude into a season of transformation is to create new traditions. Like I said, maybe you're still in the same household that you shared with your partner. Maybe you have children that you shared with them, or just in that relationship where you've talked about Christmas or have had Christmases with each other. So rather than trying to recreate old traditions, or maybe you're in that space where you still find yourself single and you're like, you know what? This year is going to be different. I need to do something different. Because sometimes when we recreate old traditions, we trigger old pain, we trigger old past memories. So, what are those new traditions that you can create for yourself or with others that give you a sense of joy and newness? This is new for me, this is exciting, rather than triggering. Because your brain cannot stay stuck in those old memories when you're actively creating new ones. Crafts is a really, really, really great way of doing this, because you can put yourself in that flow state. You can be present, and you might think, oh, I've just went a whole couple of hours without even thinking about them because I've been so engrossed in creating Christmas crafts or whatever feels right for you. So, whether you decide to go away by yourself in a completely new country, creating a new tradition where you go away from your home country, or it's a different type of gathering that you choose to go to, or a different way to celebrate, make it uniquely yours. Make new playlists for yourself that remove some of the songs that might trigger you and think about them. Choose new restaurants where you go and eat. If you meet up with your friends every year at the same restaurant, but this restaurant is triggering memories of you talking about them and about how your relationship is going, maybe you ask your friends if you can choose a different restaurant this year so you can create a new memory and reset the way that you do Christmas. And like I mentioned earlier, flip the script on those family questions. So instead of really dreading them asking, are you seeing anyone? Or where is so so this year? You can use them as opportunities to share what you're going through or to share your growth journey if that feels comfortable for you. So, for example, when they say, oh, the holidays are perfect for meeting someone new, you'll meet someone soon, you can say, you know, I'm choosing to meet myself again first. I'm choosing myself. I'm choosing to love myself first before I prioritize meeting someone new. Or if they say, oh, you'll find someone better next year, you can say, well, right now I'm not looking for someone better. I'm working on being better for myself. And allow them to see your vulnerability and your authenticness and your rawness. And you might inspire them to be a little bit more authentic and vulnerable in their own experiences, because maybe they're not sharing a lot with what is going on with them, whether they're in relationship or not. A lot of us fluff over the real, and we just want people to see the good. And we're so afraid of sharing the not so good because of what other people will say or being judged by them. How can we be a leading example in our family, in our friends circle, in our co-workers at work? How can we be that leading example where we're like, you know what? Yeah, this holiday season is not going to be the same. It's going to be different because I'm feeling this way and this way and this way, and this is where I'm at. Whew, okay, maybe they'll start opening up as to what's going on with them. And we can start to see the realness of the human experience, and that is that we are just not all happy, happy, joyful, joyful all the time, especially around Christmas time. So use this time purposely. The world slows down during the holidays. Like I said, we go into that space of winter, the winter season of our life. It's perfect for that internal transformation, to be with ourselves, our emotions, our thoughts, and really start to make those decisions of what do we want to be different for next year? How can we make those steps to do something different next year to have different results? So this time really is ideal for deep healing work, especially if you're off work, your career, your business. You don't have that to distract you as much as you want it to. Actually, this is the perfect time where you don't have to think about your work and you can just think about you. And it really is that space for genuine self-discovery. So to close this episode, I want you to remember that this holiday season isn't something to just get through because you're heartbroken or because you're single. It's really an opportunity to rewrite your relationship with love. You're using this time as a catalyst for profound change. This is a really exciting time. And the path forward really isn't about numbing the pain or pretending it doesn't exist, but creating more space to be with the emotions that are coming up that want to be heard, transforming those feelings, those experiences into wisdom that helps you grow, that helps you expand and evolve into the person that you want to be in 2025 that serves your future. So trust this process, trust yourself, trust that you can make this season the most beautiful season in the way that feels good. It doesn't have to look like anyone else's Christmas. It could just be you, a really great book or movies, your dog, your children, like friends where you feel safe with, and that's it. And it just becomes a very soothing, gentle, nurturing Christmas, as opposed to the drunken nights and the crazy parties endlessly. So you get to decide that for yourself, how you want to spend this Christmas. And let it be a representation as well of how you want to move forward. And that is choosing yourself, focusing on yourself first and foremost. So remember to be kind and gentle with yourselves this Christmas season. Trust in your journey. Focus on the upcoming year and who you want to be. Focusing on love in all its forms, because you are so intrinsically worthy of love, and not just from someone else, but from yourself. So this Christmas, give yourself the gift of grace, hope, patience, and the belief that better days are ahead. Your spring is coming. Your story isn't over just because you're going through a heartbreak right now. It is just beginning. So I hope you found this episode helpful, my loves. And if you do need any support navigating this Christmas holidays, or you want to make that profound change for yourself in 2025 by healing your attachment trauma, then get in touch with me if you want to start the new year with me in my coaching programs to make those transformative changes so you can become that next level version of you, become securely attached, and start to create not only loving, healthy relationships with others, but with yourself. That is first and foremost an absolute key to having healthy relationships with others. So over the Christmas holidays, I will be taking time off. I have some of my family visiting, and I am also going to retreat a little bit into my inner world to see what needs to be changed, some reflections of my own life. So I will still be available in my DMs and Instagram or on email, but a little bit slower over this holiday season. So if you do decide to get in touch with me, please be patient. I will get to you so we can get you started in the new year with any of the coaching programs I have available, which is super exciting. But until then, my love, please, once again, a reminder, be gentle. Be gentle with yourself. I love you so much, and know that you have everything that you want from another person this Christmas season within yourself. So with love, I shall see you in the next year. Thank you so much for joining me on the Relationship Rehab podcast. I hope that this episode has supported you in healing, growing, and evolving out of insecure attachment and unhealthy relationship patterns and into safe, authentic love with yourself and others. If you enjoyed the episode, it would mean the absolute world to me if you would just take a second to rate and review this podcast. Every rating and review from you guys counts, as it really helps this podcast to grow so it can reach more people who need to hear this content. And don't forget to connect with me on social media. Take a screenshot of this podcast episode, share it on your IG stories, and tag me at the.relationship.rehab with your biggest takeaway from the episode. I really do love reading them. See you back here next week for another episode on the Relationship Rehab podcast.